Hello everyone, welcome to today's KMAI online relationship clinic. How are you? How are you? How are you? Father, let's just begin to thank God for the opportunity to be here today. How are you enjoying this 2 weeks lockdown? For us over here, we are learning. Make sure you learn something from this. It will help you. Let's not miss this. Okay, with me here is my husband.
Hello all, welcome. We've missed you. How is the stay-at-home order? For us, it's a time to search ourselves and ask ourselves questions. How prepared are we for storms, and how are we preparing for the days after the storm? It's not a good thing, but it has happened. We believe the days will be shortened so that life can return back to normal. But we must grab the lesson that it's teaching. COVID-19 is a viral illness, as we all know. So keep personal hygiene, wash your hands with soap and water, sanitize yourself, keep social distancing, and if you must go out when it's absolutely necessary. If not, stay in your home. Make your home your nest,
Please, if you're here, signal. We're buying time. We'll start in the next 2 more minutes fully with why we are here. While we are waiting, I want to say something quite funny today. I was opportuned. Are we here? I was opportuned to watch a video, and the video got me thinking. The video was about an Igbo man. I hail all our Igbo brothers. You know, the Igbo, it was about an Igbo man who kept on discussing about that what a woman needs is money. That no matter the mistake he makes, if he brings the money, everything is enough. So I kept on asking myself, is that really true? And that's what I want to ask you today. Because in saying that that's what a woman needs, is it not limiting his wife? I'm just asking. Is not limiting his wife from being everything she's meant to be? Or if God gives him someone that is richer and has more businesses, is he going to reject it? Are we here? Do you understand what I'm saying right now? Halabroko. Okay, we are back here. Don't mind us. We are trying to set out our audio system properly. So we are here and we are ready to begin. So I asked a question, the story I was sharing right now. I'm asking you, if you're the man, do you think that what he's saying is the truth? And if you're the woman, do you accept it as the truth? We accept it as the truth. Because it's quite important for us to know. It's quite important for us to know what we are doing with our life, I have something that I tell people. Your perspective determines how far you will go. So this is what I just want to share with you this morning. And I want you to listen as we begin to share. Because of the things going on right now, I was opportune to have more counselings this lockdown than any other time. And I began to ask myself, what is this thing? Why are we having lockdowns? And why are people quarreling about it? We're having emotional abuse. People are fighting and breaking things. The lockdown is not the problem. The problem was there before the lockdown. And that's where I'm coming in right now. What are you going through? And what are you assuming that is the problem? Till we get the why, we have missed something. So today's teaching is simply discussing the why, the importance of asking why, the importance of asking what and how in marriage. And today, day one, we are dealing with the why. Please, if you are online, let us signify and also share with your friends. We're going to learn few real truths today. So one of the things I want to, most of you that are coming in, if you know us already, you will know what we do. My husband and I nearly got divorced, and in the process of coming back together, we had to build. And the lessons we learned propelled us to get things better and also learn truths that are not usually bought. So I want us to look at those truths this morning, and I base them with the why, the what, and how questions we have to deal with. Are we good? Okay. So I want to understand why. I was thinking of how will we understand this why? And something came to my mind. And think about it. I think I'm going to type it as we're talking, but I want you to just think about it. Look at walking as in walking, walking, taking a walk. Look at taking a bus, driving a car, taking a train, taking an airplane, taking an helicopter. What is the common denominator or in that? What is the common thing? Most of you will say transportation. Oh yes, walking, taking a bus, driving a car, anything you're doing right, that is transportation. But what is the why? The transportation is the what and how we arrive. What is the why? And I'm trying to use this to make us understand the reason or the why in marriage. What is the why? And as I began to think about it, it is what the transportation does for us. The why is simply taking a movement from A to B, group B. Meaning I want to leave this place I'm standing to get to another place. So the walking, the cars, the bus driving, all of them do one thing. They move me from one place to another. Are we in agreement? So if he's moving us from one place to another, what is the why in marriage? I hope we're all here and I hope you're listening. What's the why in marriage then? Because if transportation, the why in transportation is simply movement. It could be movement of cargo, it could be movement of things. So I choose to walk today, maybe because I'm going to the next close. The why is still movement. I choose to enter a car and go to the next state because the transportation system is the car, but the why is still what? Movement. I'm moving from somewhere to somewhere else. Then you have the next one. I choose to take a train because it's further and it's more comfortable and maybe convenient. So my why has not changed, but what I use to arrive at that place has changed, which is the train. Then I want to go to America and I live in Nigeria. So I decide that walking will not get me there. Driving might not get me there. So what do? I take a plane. And there are two ways I can take the plane. I either fly the plane myself or I get into a plane where I'm driven by someone to that place. What is the underlying thing? Movement. I'm moving from one place to another. So this afternoon, I just want us to ask ourselves, do we really know the why of marriage? Because when people began to call this lockdown the height of abuse, quarreling, I began to ask myself, is it that we really don't know why we are married? Some tell me we are married for companionship. That was also why I got married myself. By the way, if you're just joining us, my name is Ngee Ngozi Okonkwo. My husband is Richard Okonkwo. We are both the founders of Keeping Marriage Alive. And we're not here to tell you tales. We are here to tell you that we are still working at it. But these are the truths we have learned. So back to what I was saying. Welcome. So what's the why? And I'm dwelling on this for you to think. Because one of the things we've missed in this generation is thinking. So I began to ask myself, and I'm asking you that question. If I decide to get married for the sake of children, and in the first 9 years or 10 years I don't have children, does it mean that the marriage was a failure? I'm asking you. If I decide that I want to I want to get married so that someone will sponsor my education and I'm unable to be sponsored, does it mean the marriage has failed? I'm just asking. Maybe we should all ask ourselves the same questions. So I'm asking us these questions to bring us into understanding that we all got married for the what and the how. Very few of us got married for the why. And the why is the substance. It's the why that determines the what and the how you will take. Let me repeat myself again. Just as I was talking about the car, the movement. I want to go to the next close. Obviously, the easiest thing I can think of is walking. But the why is still the same thing. I want to move from one place to another. I want to travel to America. The why is what? The why is the plane. So what do? The why is the movement. The means of transportation is the plane. So my why never changed in all these things, but because they were going through different routes, my what and how changed. Am I making sense this afternoon? Okay, so I want to just share something very important. So returning to the Igbo man story, for those joining, if you missed the Igbo man story, I talked about the Igbo man who said, no matter what he does to his wife, if he brings money to the table, everything is fine. And I asked the question, is the man limiting himself or not? Because if marriage is money, and why is it that some people have money and they're not happy? If marriage is children, why is it that some of us have children and still have not found happiness? If marriage is companionship, why is it that most of us have found companionship in the lockdown and we're still fighting? So I'm asking you, have we missed the why? Where is the why in this relationship? So in the process of it, I want to share what I learned from the why. And as I'm sharing, I would like my husband to actually open to Genesis. Well, in my search for the truth, because I always tell people your reality might not be the truth. And I found it to be true. Our reality is based by culture, is based by people's mistakes, but the truth doesn't change. Just like the why of movement has not changed. It's just that what you use to move is different. The walking, the cars, the train. So it is in marriage. The why doesn't change, but the process you go through differs, but the why is constant. Or is in what they call it in mathematics is constant, K. So I want us to look at Genesis 1, 26 to 28. And I want to introduce the why. Because we're only doing this for the next, we have another 15 minutes before we finish. We're going to use it for the why. And I would like my husband to read it so that we can have... Okay. So he's going to read it from Good News. And I'll also read it in Message. And I want us to listen to it very well.
Genesis 1, verse 26. Then God said, and now we will make human beings. They will be like us and resemble us. They will have power over the fish and the birds and all the animals, domestic and wild, large and small. So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. He created them male and female, blessed them and said, have many children so that your descendants will live all over the earth and bring it under the control. I am putting you in charge of the fish, the birds, and the wild animals.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
So I want to read it. If you're here, I want to read it from... I want to just tweak it a bit. And I'm taking it from Message Bible, the same thing, but Message Bible. And why am I saying this? For me, this is one of the things that got me thinking. And I hope it gets you thinking today. So this is it, 26. It says, God spoke. Let us make human beings in our image. Make them reflecting our nature. So they can be responsible for the fish in the sea, the birds in the air, the cattle, and yes, earth itself, and every animal that moves on the face of earth. God created human beings. He created them God-like, reflecting God's nature. He created them male and female. God blessed them. Prosper, reproduce, fill earth, take charge, be responsible for fish in the sea and birds in the air, for every living thing that moves on the face of the earth. And why am I sharing this? The Lord did something powerful. He brought out the why. And I want you to, the Lord did not just make man. Let's just make man, because he said, let us make man that will reflect my nature, God's nature. And he made them male and female. Some of you, have you ever wondered why we have Genesis 1, Genesis 2? Genesis 1 is simply this, what God intended to do. Genesis 2 is the process he went through to do it. So I'm beginning to ask ourselves, God intended to make man, and he called them male and female, so that they will become one. Am I making sense? And so what I'm looking at is, in this process, God now shared his process, the process he used in Genesis 2. And that's what I want to share right now. And in sharing it, in Genesis 2, the Lord said something here, and it goes in, Genesis 2:18 to 25. Bear with us. The children are home, so a lot of movements. God said, it's not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper, a companion. So God formed the depth of the ground of all the animals of the field and all the birds of the air. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. Whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. The man named the cattle, named the birds. Then let me go to 23. Okay, let me go to 21. God put the man into a deep sleep. As he slept, he removed one of his ribs and replaced it with flesh. God then used the rib that he had taken from the man to make woman and presented her to the man. I don't know if you have read this scripture before, but I'm interested in this scripture. And the man said in 25, finally, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, name her woman, for she was made from man. And most of us interpret this thing literally, but you know that our God is deeper than literal meanings. So I began to delve. If the why is that we are God-like, if the why is that we are meant to reflect God, and then God searched in Genesis 2 he brought man and looked around and couldn't do anything, that couldn't meet any companion. So why did he put the man to sleep? Most of us misinterpret the rib. Rib is actually side. I had to go around to Torah, to the Jewish interpretation to understand, because I felt that something was missing, and prayerfully. So what the Lord did was just separate man and woman. So in the same body there was man and woman, but when there was no companion found, he separated man and woman. So man retained the body and he gave the female spirits another body to be with. So every time a man and a woman come together, we are completing the work God started. And that's why in Keeping Marriage Alive, we define marriage as the coming together of man and woman, with the intent to reflect God's love. So the question is, what is your why? And if your why is defined properly, something changes in you. That means if you don't have children now, that's not your why. That's not the why. That's the what and how, the benefits of marriage. So my why is that God must be seen. So yes, we might not have children now, but how can God be seen in this? So we discuss it. We become each other's friend. We remove the negativity of barrenness. We can even go as far as deciding to have more adopt children. But did the why change? No. The why of marriage is simply this, that God is seen. But I've seen people married. If your husband cheats on you, you cheat on him. A woman speaks rudely to you as your wife, you beat her up. Because you do not understand the why, you miss the why, and then you abuse the what and how. So the question I'm asking you today is, what's the why in your marriage? Have you defined the why in your marriage? How important is the why? And this is very, very crucial. Now, someone will say to me, you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe. But how many of you have had the scan, done a scan? How many of you have done that? If you have done a scan, if you're pregnant, there are two things that come out in the pregnancy, in the scan test, to show you XX and XY. XX simply means female. XY is male. And you see, God doesn't lie. Even science backs up what God said. So God made man. And what did he do? He came out. When an XY, a man says, I'm a man, invariably forget that inside of you is an XY, the genetics of a woman and the genetics of a man. Then the woman says, I'm a woman. Inside you is the genetics of a woman and the genetics of a man, the place of a woman in him that he deposited in you to make you a woman. Confirming that what God did is true. So I don't know if you are here because I'm trying to make this as simple as I can because we don't have as much time. We just have like more 7 minutes. And I want us to talk about it so that you can ask us any question and we'll answer. So I go back to you again. So what is the why of marriage? Anytime a man and a woman consummate, sex is also a dividend of marriage. It's the confirmation of it, but it's not the why. So the why is if we come together, no matter what happens in our relationship, can I count on you to be God-like? Can you count on me to be God-like? Can we count on both of us that our children will see the God nature? Can the society count on us to see the God nature? It doesn't matter how rich or how poor, the why should never change. And so for the people that have been calling us this season with all the quarrels, I've been asking myself, have we actually imbibed the why of marriage? Remember what I said at the beginning? I said movement, whether you're taking a walk, whether you're using a train, whether you're using a car, the movement, the transportation is a means of transportation. The why is movement. I'm moving from one place to another. So the why of marriage is not the children, is not the money, it's not even the companionship. Is that two of us brings a kind of love that people see and understand that God is real. So the question is, what kind of marriage are you building? Have you tampered with the why? Are you still on the why? Please, if you have any questions and you're online, please can you answer as my husband comes in and we begin to just share one or two things. We've struggled. I think if you ask my husband, when you're struggling, forget the why. It's not been easy. When women call me especially, they ask me, how do you stay in the marriage and build with all the hurts that had happened? Now you know, is the why. What will God do in this? What will God have me doing this? Sometimes we've been taught, if you hit me, I hit you back. If you do this, But the crux of the matter is that God is bringing two of you so that his fullness may be seen. And anytime that fullness is seen in your business. So your character nature should be. And that's why it is the most difficult place to hide your character, marriage. Because they are meant to be godlike, and God is willing to expose all character flaws so that you can become more like him and be better used. Because remember, the second part of it is that you may have dominion, subdue. You're meant to, you're the custodian or the co-creator of the earth. What are you doing with what God has done with you? So each time we get married, we are getting married to become a better reflection of Christ, of God's image and likeness. Nothing more, nothing less. What do you have to add?
Yes, we've had it all. I hope you're picking up some points. We must know that marriage is a supernatural relationship. What I mean by this, you do all the natural, but it's maintained by the supernatural things. It was created by God. For instance, love. Love is not selfishness, that is what you want, how you want it, but it's looking out for the other person in that relationship, and it takes some bit of connection with the supernatural to be able to do that effectively. So we must be mindful of each other. We must care for each other. We must know that we are learning. We don't know it all. Give room. Give benefit of doubt. And learn and grow together. You must also be patient with your partner. You might be strong in one area and the person is weak in the other area. You meet together to grow each other's strength and help each other through their weaknesses. This COVID-19 holiday will really bring out things in marriages and in spouses. So let's make the best of it. Let's search, what is the why? Why are we married? How have we gone to work with that why? Are we living up the why? Are we living up to it? If not, let's recalibrate and start again and do it better.
You've heard it all. So what, I'm waiting for any questions today. Any questions today, please? I want us to remember that we are here. Normally our counseling is not free, but we're giving this as a free class to help people understand the basics of marriage. And today we discussed why. Tomorrow will be what? What happened? If this was the why, what happened? How did 99% of people miss it? If I tell you why I got married, you're going to laugh. I got married thinking ahead that if you get married, you have legal passport for sex. So I got married for sex. And if I ask you, my husband now, why he got married, his can be more absurd than mine. Why did you get married, sir?
For companionship.
The one thing he doesn't actually like. And that's why he got married. So companionship can actually be defined or redefined. So he got married for companionship. And then imagine all of us, those things are taken away. Some of us are battling cancer right now. Some of us are battling heartache and marriage. If you are battling those things and you're looking at it from the place of the what and the how, you miss the why and you miss the joy, those things that actually keep marriage. So for all our men and women, I hope you are going to listen to this again and again. I'm going to ask yourself the why. The why is as simple as that. God divided the male and female out for the purpose of honoring him in marriage. So anytime we come back in marriage, is the fullness of God that is seen. Nothing more, nothing less. All other things we have in it are extras. And finally, I'll leave you with this. If I have a car and I buy a Ferrari, is the Ferrari actually for a movement? No. The Ferrari is for status quo. And why am I saying that? He's going to move with it, but it gives him a status. Some of us want the status of marriage, but don't know why we need it. And if you don't know it, imagine someone that has a Ferrari that doesn't have another car. He already has a problem. So you want the status of marriage, but you're not willing to understand the why that is God-like, and that you're going to sacrifice. And that's why I think we should bring back to your dead door's path. Why do I say that? Maybe we should understand the gravity. So if you're not ready for it, you shouldn't be in it. May God be seen in your home. May you take actions according to God's will, not man's will. And when we meet again tomorrow by this time, 12 noon, when we discuss the what, you understand why we missed it, why we are still missing it, and what we can do to get ourselves back to track. So make sure you share this thing with friends. This is just a snippet. And we hope as a lockdown, as we're still in 2 weeks, please bond. Unfortunately, you mustn't bond. Some people think bonding means just getting everything laughing. I've learned that it cuts short the thing. Talk about it. We better cry and get it right than laugh and get nothing right. So see you tomorrow, the same time, 12 noon. Share with your friends. And if you're just catching up and coming in, please go back and listen. The why is the most crucial part of your journey in marriage, so that when you draw your map, you do not miss what you're meant to learn from it. Thank you all. Love you.
Keep a date with us tomorrow, and God bless you.
Bye.